What's good? It's your boy GuapReacts, and we're back with another reaction video. This time we're gonna be watching the actual size of things. If you're watching this and there's like a particular video that you want me to react to, hit me up on Instagram at the real GuapReacts. Send it to me, or Twitter, or whatever you use. Twitter at GuapReacts. Hit me up on Xbox GuapReacts. Yeah, I'll react to anything. You know, send me some lit videos to react to, and I'll do it. No problemo. So today what we're gonna be watching is the actual size of things. Should be a very, very interesting video. Let's get into it.
Everything you ever thought you knew about our world. Planet Earth? Yeah, it's tiny. And our countries? The maps have been lying to us. It's all totally disproportionate. Some animals are secretly enormous, while once famous cruise ships now just seem like rubber toys in a bathtub. Get ready to have your mind blown, because there are so many.
I'm ready to have my mind blown.
Completely different to what our minds have come to accept. There's around
Video's starting
7.8
out.
billion people.
I think this is gonna be a good video.
If you, me, and every one of those others had 19,000 kids, then we'd still have enough room for everyone on this big planet. Crazy, right? Earth is the biggest thing that we experience, and it would take us a whopping 45 hours to fly around its circumference. Well, actually, compared to that giant ball of gas in the sky, yeah, the sun, our planet is just a speck of dust. The sun is bigger than we could ever imagine. It's 864,400 miles across. On a 2D image, you can fit 109 Earths from one end to the other. But in 3D mode, a whopping 1,300,000 planet Earths can fit inside our sun. Still, that's quite hard to fathom, so let's paint a picture. A football field is about 360 feet. If we stack them end to end, over 116,000 times, you have the Earth's diameter. Then do that 109 more times, and you've got our glorious sun. Not only is it unfathomably large, but it's also heavy. Like 333,000 times the Earth kind of heavy. But why do we look at the sun and think that it's so small? Well, we feel its warmth and we see it rise and set in the sky, so we assume it's within close range. That's just not true. In reality,
imagine the sun just came down to the Earth and like,
if we look at the bigger picture,
that would be bad.
Even the sun can be considered tiny. The Milky Way is 890 billion times the mass of the sun.
Yo, when I was younger, I used to think the Milky Way like actually like had milk in it. Like,
appear closer than they really are. Turns out it's not just our minds that had us fooled. The classic map of the world has fooled us too. Russia is huge, so is China. And the USA is pretty big too. Algeria seems kind of small, and Japan is tiny in comparison. But we've been looking at it all wrong. This, ladies and gentlemen, is a 2D map. How could a 2D map possibly convey a 3D world? The answer, it can't. Unless you're a flat earther, like Kyrie Irving or B.O.B., it's all inaccurate. Japan's not so tiny after all. If it were hanging out next to Greenland, they'd be the same height. See Algeria? Believe it or not, it's bigger than Alaska. Australia is the same width as the USA. And if we took the little island of Madagascar and placed it on the American East Coast, are you ready for this? It'd cover all of Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey, Vermont, Delaware, Virginia, and North Carolina combined. In the land down under, it's not just the geography that's out of whack. Local wildlife have their own story to tell. We all know the giant emus and powerful kangaroos. Those marsupials can get pretty big and pretty darn buff. Just take a look at Roger the Ripped Kangaroo. But there's another animal native to Australia that's way bigger
those
than most
kangaroos
people
are.
This, folks, is a wombat.
Those kangaroos, those would
Small,
knock you out. Like,
wrong.
and they're
Take a
D's
peek at
too.
it
Yo, those
next to the
kangaroos look like they be
queue,
doing
and then
bench
take your
presses
jaw
and
off
hammer
from the
curls
floor.
and everything.
These furry creatures can weigh up to 90 pounds. That's 41 kilograms.
Yo, my mic is gonna pick all that up.
The average 13-year-old human. It would take 2 fully grown border collies to even the scales, or 10 average house cats. Give this video a like if this surprised you, or comment if this is the first time you've ever seen a wombat. That's actually why
I have no idea what a wombat is.
Smaller
Never
than they
seen
are,
one.
because
Never
we
heard of
rarely
it.
see them.
I
Compared
have
to the
no
more
idea.
famous koalas and kangaroos, they're seldom found in international zoos. Still cute though, right? Our next guest, on the other hand, doesn't quite fall into the cute category. What about the huge category? Oh, you bet it does. This is the Quetzalcoatlus northropi, also known as one of the biggest flying animals of all time. It weighs
That's real?
between 440 and 550 pounds.
I think those are from the
or
dinosaur
250
ages.
kilograms. and boasted an intimidating wingspan of up to 45 feet.
I always wondered,
That's 4 times bigger than
how do
the
people
large
know
bird that exists today,
about the
the
dinosaurs?
Royal
If,
albatross.
well, I guess because
When
the
not
fossils,
gliding through
right?
the air,
I was gonna say,
Quetzalcoatl
how do people
stood
know what the
at over
dinosaurs look
16
like
feet or 5
if
meters.
no humans
That's
were
almost
here,
4
but the
pelicans
fossils,
stacked
right?
head to
So
toe.
that's a dumb
And
question.
the only animal that even comes close is a giraffe.
If the fossils are
Now that
even
you think
real,
about
I've
it,
never
it
even seen a.
kinda looks
I've
like
seen
a
a
weird
fossil, but that could be
combination
all
of the two,
made.
doesn't
Like
it? Next to a
they could have
human,
made
it's
that.
all kinds of
They could literally have
intimidating
made
mascots.
fossils.
Paleontologist Mark
Who
Witton
knows,
seems
bro?
to think that these winged beasts could have flown 10,000
Can't
miles
believe everything.
non-stop. That's like going from New York to Sydney, hitting max speeds of 80 miles an hour along the way. Of course, this colossal flyer went extinct 66 million years ago, so don't expect to see it.
That's what I'm
anytime
saying.
soon.
Like something from
While
66
not nearly as
million
old as
years,
that,
bro. Like
our
that's
next
long.
fascinating subject has been around for quite a long
66
time
million
too,
years,
and it's
bro.
actually a world wonder. Sure, Machu Picchu and the Great Wall of China are old, but technically they're only wonders of the New World. We're talking, of course, about the Great Pyramid of Giza, the only wonder of the ancient world that is still standing. There are about 80 pyramids known today from ancient Egypt. The most famous, of course, is the Great Pyramid, dating back to around 2560 BC. At a neck-straining
I want to go to like where the pyramids are, but at the same time, I feel like it'll be kind of like boring over there. Like you see the pyramids, like it's nice, like get the picture, but then it's like, what else are you really
Don't
doing?
believe us? Check out this photo of a tourist
But
chilling at the bottom.
I do want to
It's
just
bigger than
go
both
just to
Big
say
Ben
I've
and
been there,
the
you know,
Statue of
just to
Liberty.
see it from my own
But of
eyes.
course,
But
most of us haven't seen it for ourselves. And since it's important for
maybe be in the
visitors to
desert,
capture
ride
the
on a
whole
camel,
pyramid to show off to
dress
their
up in that
friends,
gear.
the
You know the
majority
Saudi
of photos
Arabians
are from
dress
a
up in that
considerable
gear.
distance.
Maybe ride some
Making an appearance
ATVs in the
next,
desert.
The wondrous, ill-fated RMS Titanic. For all those who didn't shed a tear while watching James Cameron's film, the Titanic was the largest ship ever to set sail when it made its maiden voyage in 1912, until it hit an iceberg and sank. Before falling to the bottom of the ocean, the luxury cruise liner measured 882 feet. That's 269 meters in length, and could hold 3,547 people. That's insane. Especially for over a century ago. It was so impressive and tragic
That's huge.
that many of us would assume that no ship of its size was ever built again. But oh, those people would be so wrong. Next to Royal Caribbean's new Symphony of the Seas cruise ship, the Titanic looks like a teeny tiny tugboat. Symphony is also twice as high and twice as wide.
That
as the
looks
Titanic,
lit.
and
That
capable of
cruise ship
fitting
looks lit. I've never been on a cruise.
8,461 people.
I
So
wanna
whether
go
you
on a
see the
cruise,
Titanic as small or the Symphony of the Sea as
but
gigantic, it's
It's
dramatic
something
either
about
way.
being in the
It
open
doesn't
water,
just
the
have to be
open
world wonders
ocean,
or
where it's
ships
like,
that baffle us. Sometimes
damn,
the size
bro.
of everyday objects can be misleading
Anything
too.
can happen.
Take, for example,
But
the
cruises
humble
look
yet
lit.
necessary road
It's
sign.
something I definitely
Who
want to
here has ever
do.
looked up at one of those green signs when
Sweet life
driving
of
and
Guap
thought,
on deck.
How did that get there in the first place? It turns out they're made in giant factories, and when we say giant, we mean
If I go on a cruise, I'm vlogging that. I'm actually gonna make a series, The Sweet Life of Guap on Deck, no cap.
Them at light speed, and they're deliberately made to be seen from a distance. In reality, when we catch them up close, they are freaking huge. You see what we're talking about? A sign on a freeway that spans 2 or more lanes can easily be larger than 25 feet. Even the one-lane signs are wider than most cars. Oh, curious as to why they're always green? Traditionally,
Oh, that's the
green
whoa.
is more visible and
That's
less distracting
Toronto.
to motorists. And green is more curious as to why they're
427 North. That's around 427 Islington. That's a Toronto. This is a Toronto highway. Shout out to Toronto, man. The guy who made this video is probably Canadian. Just because of the fact he put this in there. Shout out to us, man.
always green. Traditionally, green is more visible and less distracting to motorists at nighttime. From concrete jungles to actual ones, let's take a look at the real king of the jungle, the gorilla. We know that these animals
Gorillas
are
are the king of the
large
jungle? I thought it was a lion.
chimpanzees, orangutans, and those bright-butted baboons. But the gorilla's actual size might just shock some of you, especially the eastern lowland gorilla, the largest of the 4 subspecies. They weigh twice as much as the average human, and are taller than Jon Snow himself, Kit Harington, when standing on their rear legs. And check out those massive hands. So why are they so much bigger than we realize? Well, first off, be honest. How often have you been face to face with a gorilla? Exactly. Plus, even if you've
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen a
in the zoo
gorilla.
or even in the wild, they would have either
Even
been
at a
hanging
zoo, or
out on their
I've never
backside,
seen it. I've been
hunched
to a zoo,
over,
I think,
or
once
walking
or
around on
twice.
all fours.
Never seen a
Swimming
gorilla.
along next is the menacing, potentially misunderstood anglerfish. Made famous by luring in
called
Marlin
piranha?
and Dory with her glowing dorsal fin in Finding Nemo, the anglerfish hangs out in the dark depths of the oceans. For precisely that reason, humans seldom see them face to face. And if they're photographed by divers,
You can't go that deep down the ocean. Your brain will
so we can't
explode.
compare
Like
it
the
to
pressure,
anything
the
we
water
know.
pressure down there is just
Therefore,
too
you,
much.
I,
Like
and everybody else remains
even when I go,
entirely clueless
even when
to the
like I
fact
go
that these
deep
guys
at the
are
bottom of a
way
pool,
bigger than we think.
like a pool,
So how
like
big
a
are we
deep pool,
talking?
bro. I could
Up
feel it
to
in my ears, bro.
3.3
Imagine being
feet
deep in the
length
ocean. I
and
think your whole
weighing up
body
to
would just like
70
explode.
pounds.
To be honest,
That's half the length of the bed you sleep on, and almost as
That's
heavy
crazy.
as the wombat we saw
that's a
earlier.
huge fish.
Want to find out what's hiding deep in the mysterious depths of the Marianas
I
Trench?
definitely don't
Check
want to
out our
know.
video, linked in the description. Over to Europe now, where some pieces of art, no matter their size, have a larger-than-life reputation. On one end of the spectrum, the Mona Lisa is underwhelmingly small, surrounded by gawking, photo-happy tourists. On the other hand, one infamous unclad statue is impressively large. No, not in that way. Yep, Michelangelo's David. In the Galleria dell'Accademia in Florence, Italy, our 5-century-old David stands at 17 feet high. As you can see, this makes us regular-sized humans feel pretty darn small. If you're like us and didn't realize
My
how
video might get
enormous this statue
nah.
really was,
My
give
video,
the video a
my
quick
video
like.
might get flagged for
But
this,
why
bro.
are we all
But it's
surprised?
artwork, so maybe it
comes
won't.
down to the photos we look at. Tourist photos, mainly. In order to get the entire piece of art in the frame, tourists need to
Now you
step back.
immature little boy is gonna be like, oh my god, it's in his penis, oh my god.
And it appears smaller. Which of these things surprised you the most? Let us know.
What
Check
surprised
out
me
one
the
of our
most? What surprised me most? That fish, bro. That fish that's in the deep ocean. How it's like the size of your bed. That's crazy. Imagine a fish that big. Well, then again, there's like sharks and whales, but like that's crazy. But yo, that's the end of the video. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you. I actually like mean that when I say I appreciate you. Make sure to hit that like button. If there's any videos you want me to react to, send it to me on Instagram or Twitter. It's your boy GuapReacts, and we out.